there folks, and welcome into today's video. Hope you're doing great out there as always. You know that famous expression, I lost my shirt? Well, I literally lost my shirt, man. I'm recording this video no shirt on. I don't know what happened, but the last 2 weeks have been rough, okay? I've been seeing so much red. I'm starting to wear red clothing every day. I don't know what's going on. The fireplace, I have like different colors I can put on, okay? So the weekend I put on blue color, and then on green days, like when my accounts are green, I put on green color, and when the market's down and I'm down, I put the red color, right? Well, I gotta say, the last 2 weeks, it seems like every day I wake up and I'm like, oh, I gotta put the fireplace in the red color again, red. And I even had the kids trained on this, okay? They know, like, you know, if it's green, that's good, okay? If it's red, that means don't ask daddy for no Happy Meals or like Pokemon cards, okay? Daddy broke today. Don't ask me for anything. And yeah, it's been so much red. I've been rocking so much red. I've been thinking about my blood, man. It's like a roulette wheel, okay? Like, I feel like this is me lately. Like, the green is like so hard to get. Like, I just need a green day, and it seems like it's just red. And then the black color, that's like, you know, like it's just a little red, okay? That's still red, but it's just a little red. I'm like, can I just get a green? But there's only 2 green numbers out there, and it seems really hard, okay? But in all seriousness, guys, the question we're talking about here today is, when does the chef bottom? Tattooed chef, TTCF. It's been rough lately, right? But specifically, obviously, the last 2 trading days specific, right? There was a huge red day on Friday. Today, down another 3% plus. And some folks are like, where's this baby gonna bottom? And there's kind of 4 prices I've seen put out there a lot. One is $15, one is $13, I've also seen $5, and yes, $0. I wonder who's putting the $0 price targets out there. The shorts, okay? We're gonna talk about how realistic all 4 of those are. We'll work our way up from the most unrealistic of the bunch to the most realistic and talk about the stock price in regards to today. By the way, in regards to this, chef, yes, I bought more shares here today, and I'm not done buying. I'm up to 49,000 shares in my main private account. Like I said, I'm not done buying. I'm definitely going over 50,000 shares total in that account. Cost basis is down to $18.86. I think I could definitely get that down to $18.50 or below within hopefully the next few weeks. So yeah, the chef, I just continue to build that. So hope you guys enjoy this video. As always, don't forget to smash a like for this video. That's all I ask in return. I'm the YouTuber that battles the short sellers all the time, and we got some drama out there. I appreciate you guys in a massive way. If you're looking to join the best free Discord chat in the world, check out the link in the description. That's to join us in Stock Club. Alright guys, so first up here, let's talk about the most unrealistic one of these bunch, okay? I call this one the 0.0000001% chance, okay? This is $0. Like I said, this is every short seller's, let's just call it exciting dream, is that the stock they're shorting goes to $0, okay? And every single short seller, it's going to zero, it's going to zero, it's going to zero, short it to zero, okay? Okay, so let's just talk for a minute. I'll try to give this a time of day. What would it take for Tattooed Chef stock to go to $0, okay? Bankrupt. Well, they would have to never cash flow positive, right? Always lose money. They'd have to run through all $140 million of cash on their balance sheet, so they literally had no cash. Then on top of that, they would have to be in a situation where literally no one would loan them money. I'm talking banks, credit unions, private investors, anything, Wall Street, like no one, not a soul on this planet will loan them even $1. And on top of that, you would have to have the stock already pretty much go to zero, so they couldn't even dilute shareholder value at all, okay? Once again, that whole crazy scenario is like a 0.0000001% chance, but that's the short sellers, okay? It's going to zero. Every stock's going to zero they're shorting, except they don't, and then they actually find themselves on the other side of a lot of pain usually, okay? So yeah, that's that one, okay? Next one up here, $5. This one is also extremely unrealistic. I would call this a less than a 1% probability. Let's call this a 0.01% chance of this happening, okay? $5 a share. What would it take for the stock to go to $5 a share? Well, first off, that's like a maybe $450 million market cap from like 1.4 billion today, or 1.35 billion, or whatever it is today, okay? So we're talking, that would be a ridiculous drop in the stock price from here. What would need to happen for that to actually happen? Well, you need revenues to start going down. And when I mean down, I don't mean the percentage is less, because everybody expects that. I mean literally for revenue to go down year over year. So let's say they report a quarter and they're like, we did 40 or I don't know, $35 million in revenue next quarter, right? And let's say the previous year they did more than 35 million. That would be revenue down year over year, okay? And so yeah, if a situation like that happened, that would be a disaster, right? In 2022, everybody pretty much expects Tattooed Chef to grow revenues anywhere from 25% on the low end to 35%. So obviously Tattooed Chef's a high growth stock. They grew revenues 46% in the last quarter year over year, and their branded revenues were up 62% year over year. So if for the company to just go, let's say from crazy growth like they have to all of a sudden revenues were literally to go negative for the company year over year, if something like that happened, yeah, I could see a dramatic fall in the stock price. Now, I think that's completely unrealistic, but it always is a possibility. It's just an extremely low probability, okay? That would have to mean retailers were discontinuing the product. Let's say the product just wasn't moving on store shelves and it's selling far less than everything else, right? And the chef can't get new products in there, yeah, that's how your revenues would go negative. Now, how realistic is that? Well, what we've heard is sell-through from Tattooed Chef is incredibly strong. You don't get like retailers like Sam's Club and Costco to be putting your products in stores all the time unless you're moving crazy volume, just flat out. I'm telling you, Costco and Sam's Club, those companies haven't just, been around the block for a couple days or something like that. Those companies, you have to move huge volume. I'm talking huge volume to get into those type of retailers, okay? And guess what? Tattooed Chef is extremely successful in those retailers. Then on top of that, we're talking about getting into retailers like Target and Walmart. Like, come on, and Target said this was their best frozen food launch in history when they launched the Tattooed Chef brand in their stores. Like, and Kroger just accepted their product. Whole Foods, which is owned by Amazon. Like, you aren't getting into these type of retailers and hearing these type of things unless you're selling like crazy. So for these companies to all of a sudden be like, in a situation where they have to discontinue Tattooed Chef product because they're not moving any units or something like that, and then like, we don't want any more new units from you, Tattooed Chef, extremely unrealistic, but it always is a possibility. I would call that a 0.01% chance for $5, okay? What about $13? Let's talk about this one here, okay? So a $13 move would obviously be huge downside from even here, okay? This would be a situation where I would call the mid hands would have to get shaken out of this stock. What are mid hands, okay? You always have the first group of traders or investors in a stock, which are called the weak hands, okay? And those folks are easy to get out of a stock. Any sort of bad news, anything even in relation to bad news, it doesn't even have to be bad news. It could just be the stock price moves down a little bit and the weak hands get out, right? The traders all of a sudden like, oh man, this trade's going wrong. I gotta, put my stop losses in. I gotta get out of this stock, right? Or the investors who don't have very much confidence in the stock in general. If the stock moves down in any major way, it doesn't have to be on a fundamental basis or anything, right? Company can report amazing numbers like the chef did, 62% branded revenue growth last quarter year over year. It doesn't matter. The stock went down. The weak hands get shaken out, okay? But the mid hands is that next group that they have some confidence in the stock. They're not going to get too shaken out by the stock price, but if something was to happen where the fundamentals of the company got shaken up in the short term, the mid hands get out, okay? And then obviously you have what I call the heavy hands. That's folks like me that are really in the stock through kind of like thick and thin, okay? And they're not really just looking to get out, even if there was some short-term thing to come out or something like that. But in order for the mid hands to get shaken out, you need some actual really bad news for the stock. Some really bad news. Like, I don't know, like all of a sudden like Target's like, oh, we don't want Tattooed Chef products anymore. Walmart's like, we don't want those products anymore, something like that. Some really legit bad news you would need for the mid hands to get shaken out of that stock. And you would need potentially another massive sell-off when it comes to small cap stocks, okay? And keep in mind, we've already had a lot of big sell-offs in regards to the small caps. We've seen so many of those companies under $10 billion market caps getting hammered. It doesn't mean they can't continue to go down or continue to get even more undervalued, but it gets more and more unrealistic for these stocks to continue to get hammered the more they go down. Because the more these stocks go down, the more and more undervalued they get, the more and more investors are starting to say, hey man, this is where opportunities are. I gotta start investing in these sorts of stocks, okay? But if you had something like that happen, yes, the stock could fall to $1 to $1.1 $1 billion type number as far as market cap goes. I would put that at about, let's call it a 7.5% probability something like that would happen. So I'm thinking like 5 to 10% chance. So we'll go with the 7.5% that this stock could actually fall to $13 a share. Like I said, you would need some legit, really, really bad news in regards to the fundamentals of the company. Something really, really bad. Outside of that, it's hard to see the stock at $13, okay? Now let's talk about $15 range, all right? This would put the company at roughly a $1.2 billion market cap or so when it comes to this, okay? Now, keep in mind when it comes to Chef, this was a stock that was in the $15 range back on April 20th, and kind of in April in general. There were several days where the stock hit 15 something a share. I was buying the stock heavily, obviously, and I was including call options as well. And yeah, I mean, anytime the stock goes under 18, that's just me being like aggressive with my buys, right? $15, definitely possible. I would say, I would put it at a 50% probability that this stock hits something in the 15s, right? 50% probability. Could today have been the lows, 1645? It's possible, or 16 whatever it hit today, it's always possible. But I would say there's about a 50% chance the stock goes into 15 something. It was there back in April. It's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. When you just look at the numbers, it's like literally all the stock needs to do is basically have 1 or 2 more rough days where it goes down 3%, 4%, something like that, and we're already in the 15s. So it's definitely not out of the stretch of imagination. Maybe today was a bottom. I don't know. But when you look at it, Friday was the huge sell-off. You kind of had that kind of, let's call it a resell off here today, right? The folks that maybe didn't get out on Friday that were like the weekend bunch that looked at the stock over the weekend like, oh man, I want to get out of this one. So they got out here today. That's why the stock was down 3.3% roughly. So it always is a possibility. I would put it at a 50% probability this goes into the 15s, okay? So that's the most realistic by far. 13 is possible, pretty unrealistic. $5, insanely unrealistic, and $0 is like, the short sellers, man. You know, that's like literally the equivalent of saying the stock is going to $0 would be me saying the stock is going to $1,000 over the next 3 years. Is it possible? Sure, it's possible Tattoo Chef goes to $1,000 over the next 3 years, but it's extremely unrealistic. No different than it's extremely unrealistic to say this stock is going to $0. Absolutely ridiculous, okay? Now, I'm personally hoping this stock stays down for the next 30 days or more, okay? Or roughly. Basically, I just want to get my chance to get 2024 call options in stocks like Tattooed Chef, Corsair Gaming, and there's about 3 other stocks I'm specifically looking at for 2024 call options. So if this stock stays down for the next 30 days, I'm all for it. Once we get to the end of September, Tattoo Chef and every stock out there that I'm interested in has the blessing to go up, okay? I don't care. Like, they can all go up at that time, okay? But for the next 30 days, my hope is these stocks stay down around the ranges they're at now, or dare I even say go down a little bit more. If Tattoo Chef is at $15 in mid to late September, I'm all for it. If Corsair Gaming is at $25, $26, $27 in, let's say, mid to late September, I'm all for it. After that, after I get loaded up on the call option positions, those stocks have my blessing to go up, but I'm hoping they stay down in the short term. Now, I know some people that might be new to the market and might be like, well, why not just wait until that time? Who knows, man? Because the Chef is just as easily, it can make a big downward move. It could make a huge upward move. And all of a sudden, the stock's at $18, $20, something like that. It's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. As far as Corsair Gaming, who knows? That stock could all of a sudden make a move, and next thing you know, that stock's at $29, $31, $34 in a very short amount of time. So I'm not willing to try to time it out as far as that goes and be like, oh, let me get out, let me get back in. No, that's a game that's not really worth playing, okay? A game that is worth playing is check out the patience video. The patience video. I put that out. It's an 11-minute video. I put that out last night. Not a lot of people got to see it because it came out pretty late at night, but definitely check that video out. Patience. I think that's a really, really important video, not just right now to watch, but keep that video around for future months and future years, and come back to that video whenever you're maybe a little down on the market at a particular time, down on some stocks. I think that's a really, really powerful video that I like. That's kind of a psychological mindset video that you definitely should come back to and check out. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.